The 2xKO Alpha Lab is just in a few days and I can't wait until we can finally play again. I'm so excited about this playtest that I want to create content for you guys so that I can help you guys get into it and understand how it plays. I know a lot of you guys will be playing the game for the first time, but lucky me, I've had the opportunity to play the game multiple times now with about 8 to 10 hours under my belt. So my goal for a lot of videos I will be making is to take the knowledge that I've obtained while learning the game and trying to help you guys and ease your way in, since this will be your first time playing. Majority of my time spent playing KO was actually recently at EVO 2024 on the build that we will actually be playing for the Alpha Lab. There's a lot to learn about the game, but I think the best way and the best place to start when first getting into it is looking at the fuse system and understanding how it truly works. Now, if you're completely new to 2xKO, fuses are the universal system mechanic that essentially provides your team multiple ways to play the game. This mechanic is one of the ways that the game opens up player expression and skill expression because each fuse allows players to approach the game in very different and creative ways. Each fuse unlocks a new level of discovery every time you play, but since a lot of you guys are newer here, let's start with the newest fuse that has been added into the Alpha Lab build to help players get into the game. Let's look at the Pulse Fuse. Pulse is a fuse that grants your team auto combos in 2xKO, allowing you to get into the action with the mash of a button. Each dedicated attack button on your controller, light, medium, and heavy, grants you a different combo to perform and can even be mixed in with each other in order to give you a small taste of how combo expression works within the game. Now, some of you may be wondering why would they implement this when the game itself has already been simplified? Trust me, just because the game is simplified doesn't mean it's not complex and has a lot of insane depth. 2xKO is a game that from the outside seems very easy to pick up, but once you put your hands on it, you realize there's a lot more to it than you have ever expected. This is why the Pulse Fuse is great for beginners, because it allows a lot of them that have never played fighting games before to immediately feel powerful and open up the doors to fun once you play it for the first time. The Pulse Fuse can even be used as a comfort pick for players who have been introduced to the fighting game genre, while other games that have auto combos in them like Dragon Ball FighterZ due to its familiarity and feel. Similar to games like it as well, you can also learn how to play the game traditionally through the auto combo system, since it still allows you to do manual inputs with it. This will then eventually help you graduate to other fuses in the game at some point. I personally used this fuse myself with a friend that doesn't play fighting games that much at all, and both of us had a blast playing the game, so definitely give it a try if you or a friend are playing KO for the first time. Next up, we have Double Down. Double Down is a fuse that allows the second player on your team to use their supers or ultimate after the point characters uses theirs. If you've seen any gameplay or tournaments of other tag fighters in the past like Marvel vs. Capcom, you may have heard the term DHC before. This stands for Delayed Hyper Combo, which essentially means you'll be able to perform multiple supers one after another. This is where the idea of the Double Down fuse comes from and is one of my favorites. Now, how you perform Double Down is by triggering a super with your point character, which is normally done by hitting down down S1, down down S2, or down down S1 plus S2. And you do the same inputs again for your second character to follow up with theirs. Super and ultimates are normally the same input for every character in the game. Just keep in mind that each input performs a different super and requires a different amount of meter. Generally, for most supers in the game, you're only going to need one bar, and for ultimates, you need two. Now, if you're playing with a friend, each player on the team has to input their supers and ultimates themselves. So if player 1 is controlling the point character on screen, they will be the ones to initiate the first super. Then as soon as it's triggered, player 2 then inputs either one of their supers or ultimate to follow up. This is done so that both players always feel involved when playing 2xKO, and it leads to some of the best team dynamics you'll ever find in a fighting game. Next, we have Fury. Fury is probably one of the most slept on fuses in the game right now, but I believe it's actually pretty strong in the hands of certain players and teams. Fury grants characters a damage buff and the ability to dash cancel almost everything in the game once their health has reached 40%. It's a pretty simple fuse, but provides a lot of value for characters in late game. It's designed to be this game's version of a combat mechanic, since we don't have anything like X Factor in KO. I'm not specifically sure on how big the damage buff is, but I will say it definitely felt very significant, especially when I played on characters like Braum, Alawi, and Darius. Now, the dash cancel is what's interesting about this fuse because it adds a layer to pressure for characters that didn't even exist before, as well as new combos. You input this either with the dash button or just double tapping forward, and it essentially triggers a quick slowdown, allowing you to steal your turn, continue your pressure, and even extend combos. This mechanic essentially is forcing your opponents to hold any incoming strategy you have set up, and it shows how strong Fury truly is, The crazy part though is that this is probably the least explored fuse within the game. I imagine a lot of players will be experimenting with it more during the alpha lab, and we'll be able to see how crazy things can get with it. But if I had to imagine though, I think this fuse would be really strong if you still have your partner alive to pair as an assist with the buff while it's active. I can't wait to see more about it though. Now lastly, we have probably the two strongest fuses in the game, and the ones you'll be more than likely seeing the most as you play throughout the entirety of the alpha lab, especially at a higher level, and that's freestyle and 2x assist. 2x assist allows you to perform 2 assist actions back to back. What this looks like is that once you call your first assist, you can perform another assist right after it as long as the assist character is still on screen. This is something super strong to have on a team because having an assist that can perform multiple actions at once leads to new exclusive combos for your team, as well as really strong pressure strategies, allowing there to be even more added layer on offense. This is a fuse that's going to take some time for players to get used to because this is a mechanic that's new to tag games as a whole from my understanding. I'm not aware if any other tag game has done this before, but it is kind of similar when calling 2 assists back to back in a 3v3 fighter. The only difference is that most of the time in a 3v3 fighter, it's not that wise to waste your assist that quickly back to back because then you're left with nobody on your team as they're on cooldown. Plus, the bigger difference is that having that many assist calls within a 2v2 fighter is a lot scarier. This is probably the fuse I used the most in my time with KO, and I would say out of the 2 advanced ones in the game, this was the one that felt a bit easier to get used to because as a second player, your primary job is mostly to focus on assist calls, so having something that essentially makes you as a better partner overall when supporting your point character out on the field, it just makes your job a lot more interesting and a lot more interactive. But when it comes to freestyle, this is where the fuse system gets kinda crazy. Freestyle is a fuse that allows a team to handshake tag twice in one sequence, allowing you to create hard to block mix-ups and pressure. This is pretty similar to active tagging and Power Rangers Battle for the Grid and BB Tag, where the core idea of this fuse is to essentially sandwich your opponent. You're forcing them into a situation where they're in between your point character and assist character, and they have to be mindful of both champions because your team can switch between each one of them at any time. This is where the griminess in tag fighters really start to show into SKO, and I love it. How this works is that when your team calls an assist, you will notice that the assist character actually sits on the screen a lot longer than usual, waiting for you to tag into them. Once you're ready, you can then tag into the character, allowing them to be the point character now. But the interesting thing to keep in mind is that the previous character now sits on screen as well, so that you have the ability to tag back into them if you want to. This is normally how the sandwiching situation that we talked about earlier begins, but how strong situations like this truly become is completely based on the comfortability of using the fuse system, especially in team play. This fuse system will require you and your teammate to be in sync to use it effectively, which will definitely take some time to get used to, but once you really do, it truly shows how insane this game can truly be. And it's honestly no surprise why so many players, especially at the high level, love it so much. But that's every fuse in the game. Hopefully these descriptions I provided to get you guys to understand how these fuses currently work. If you're new getting into 2SKO, I would definitely recommend a lot of you guys to try out the post fuse as it does provide you auto combos and an easier way to work yourself into the game. If you don't want to try out auto combos though, then I would definitely say the next best fuse to give it a try would be Fury, since it does grant you a buff when you have low HP, as well as dash cancel, which allows you to fill out some unique mechanics in the game that you haven't messed with just yet. Other than that, free reign on pick whatever fuse you want, because I think all of the fuses in the game have a core purpose and to a degree are pretty strong. I can't wait to see how these fuses work, especially since a lot of their strength will be tied around to the different characters within the game. Right now, maybe Double Down might not be as strong because there aren't characters with supers that truly take advantage of it like it could. But who knows, down the line with more champions coming to the game, Double Down could be broken for a team that we haven't even seen yet, which is also why I'm pretty excited for Fury, because I believe there's definitely some dirt somewhere there with it. But again, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it was very helpful, and if it was, remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Comment down below what some 2SK videos that you guys want to see from me, and if you guys are excited about the Alpha Lab test. I hope a lot of you guys get in to join me, and maybe we'll even do some streams so you guys can come through and we have fun learning the game. I appreciate all you guys' support, and always remember to believe in you that believes in yourself. I'll see you guys in the next one.